20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. One of the things that we've seen probably since the Parkland shooting was that young people are starting to realize that this is a country made up of us, we the people, and that we don't want to depend on somebody else to dictate to us how our lives are lived. We want to do it ourselves. And so it's very encouraging to see a 17-year-old, whether you agree with the positions of the young man from Parkland or not, and there's a lot he still needs to learn, that's to be honest with you. But still, it's very impressive that he's trying to make a difference. And right here in our own community, we have a 17-year-old also trying to make a difference. He is in the studio. His name is Colton Sawyer Smith, and he is here to introduce himself to you. He's not running this year for Marion County Public School Superintendent, but he intends to in the year 2020. So he's kind of kicking off his campaign, and it's an honor that he chose WOCA to do that. Good morning, Colton. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Are you still in school?
No, we were out for summer, but
I mean, so you didn't graduate yet?
No, I'm in 11th grade now.
11th grade. Well, that's awesome.
Yep, I'm on an accelerated pace to graduate. I'm doing Florida virtual school, so I plan to be out this time next year.
So what is it about the position of superintendent that attracted you? What do you think you can bring to that office?
I think we needed much needed positive changes in the district. The employee morale is really declined over the past couple years, and I think the students deserve a higher quality of education.
Okay, and that's a wonderful statement, but how would you do those things? What kind of things specifically would you do that would change those things?
Well, currently the district administrators, the principals and assistant principals are popped around at different schools every year, and it's just not the way you should run things, because teachers and students deserve consistency, and people trust their administrators. If they don't have consistency, then they don't trust anybody, and sometimes a person will move around 3 schools in 1 month, and it's just not what they deserve.
One of the things that we were talking about this morning, and this is maybe a technical thing, is that I thought there was an amendment to make the school superintendent an appointed position by the school board.
Yes.
Instead of elected. What do you know about that?
The school board and the county commissioners did approve it to be on the ballot for November, and you, the voters, will be voting on that this November to appoint the superintendent instead of an elected position.
Okay, so if that gets passed, then
yes,
then you will have to change your plan.
Yes, and the school board would be able to have educational requirements and would have to fund the salary, and that's another technicality that they would have to overcome.
So that, and so would you if you wanted that position?
Yes, I would.
So what would you do? You would court them then and see if they would still consider you as?
I would definitely have to go and go to college and earn a degree first, and then work in the district, and then I would probably could apply maybe 20 years.
So, oh wow, 20 years. So is your intent to go to college anyway, even if you
Yes.
are as a superintendent?
Yes.
Okay, and what kind of career would you be striving for?
I would be major in education. I'd probably want to be a business teacher. At high school right now, my favorite class is business education, and I'm the marketing manager for our yearbook, so I call people and get advertisements and things like that.
Mm-hmm. One of the observations that we all make is that when somebody is running for a public office, it seems like the person with the most money is often the one with the most votes. Not necessarily on local elections, maybe, but definitely on the statewide and national elections. Is that an issue for you? Do we need? You have 2 years to get some money raised.
Well, I'm working 3 jobs right now to help fund my campaign, and normally the people with money do get more votes, but not always. And I just think that I'm not a politician, and I never will be, and I'm running for the right reasons. And
is there anything specific about what Dr. Mayer is doing that you disagree with?
I think the employees need to be treated better, and I think there should be more accountability for employees, making sure they are doing their jobs and everything like that.
Can you give me a specific example where they're not?
Well, I don't think It's not as much as they're not doing their job. I think it's that some employees will have an assignment like sports facilitator, and they're supposed to come in and help the ESE students, but the schools are so understaffed that they're being pulled for testing and things like that. So the students that really need the help aren't getting the help.
Okay. And so you would change that by doing what?
We need more staff in our schools.
Just hiring more people?
Yes.
Now, what about the article that was in the news today, in this afternoon, or this 5:30 today at the school board, they're going to vote on how to pay for, they've already made the decision to put the resource officers in the schools. Do you agree with that decision?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The average cost, I was at the work session yesterday, and it was about $120,000 per officer. Now, you may ask that, how does an officer that makes maybe $40,000 cost $120,000? You have to account for their gear, their radios, their benefits, their, things like that.
But ultimately, it's the safety of the students that we're looking at this for. So,
yes, it's not about money. It's
so in this one, you agree with Dr. Mayer, it sounds like.
Yes.
And all the school boards, right? Have you considered just running for the school board and then superintendent later on?
That election is this year. Kelly King would be the district I could run for, and I believe she's doing a great job. And I couldn't run for that anyways because they just finished qualifying, and you have to be 18 during qualifying, and that's the loophole that I'm using.
So in 2 years, so if they change, let me stick with the superintendent position, which is what you want to run for. One of the talking points on the list that you gave us to talk about was social promotion. What do you mean by that?
Social promotion is where a student is promoted to the next grade, whether they're ready or not. So if you're in first grade and you're on a kindergarten level, you'll still get promoted sometimes to second grade.
Is that what you want, or you don't want? Oh, you don't want that?
No.
Oh, I agree with that.
That's a lot of the problems we're dealing with now with the grades declining and the graduation rates, because when you get to high school, you have to pass all these tests to graduate, and if you can't pass them, you have to revert to GEDs and certificates of completion.
Have you ever run for student body president, that kind of thing? No, you're not interested in that?
Probably not.
No.
I've been to the government meetings at school before, but that's about the extent.
Is anybody in your family in politics? Anybody an elected official?
No, sir.
So you're the first one?
Yes.
Wow. So what does your family think of that?
They're supportive. Some think it's crazy, but I like crazy.
Well, it sounds like you've thought the things through. I'm going to ask you to give some more specific examples of some of the things you've said, if you could do that, because they're kind of broad. So let's talk a little bit about the ways to increase grades. The grades, you said they're not doing as well.
No.
Are we talking about the students' grades or the school grades?
The students' grades.
Okay.
So like the graduation rate is 3.3% down from last year. No, that's not a lot, but it's 3% that didn't, graduate more than last year. I think we need to look at the higher performing districts and coordinate with them and see what they're doing and emulate what they're doing.
And do we know who they are and what they're doing?
I think Manatee County was one of the top ones. I know there's 3 districts in Florida that have 90% graduation rates.
What do they do differently in Manatee, do you know?
I have not discovered that
yet.
No,
you don't know yet. Okay. As technology increases, you're already somebody who's learning. You have some at-home programs you're doing?
Yes, I'm doing Florida Virtual School.
Florida Virtual School.
Yes.
Completely?
No, I'm not. I'm still attending 6 periods a day at school, but I'm doing English 4 and math for college readiness online.
Oh, okay. So you're doing some of your college courses already?
No, not college courses. Just to do my 12th grade year online a little bit, so I can graduate this year.
Colton Sawyer Smith is our guest, and he is intending to run for the superintendent of public schools for Marion County in the year 2020. He's only 17 right now. So when do you turn 18?
In September.
In September. So then you'll be eligible for pretty much anything you want to run for. So when will we start to see the real big push? Assuming that the voters say we still want to vote for.
If it is still an elected position in November, probably late 2019, early 2020 is when we'll start seeing more candidates join the table and really coming out to the events and talking and things like that. But I've already been out at the events, some of them, and talking to voters and things like that.
So to give us the elevator pitch. If I'll give you however much time you need. Just tell us, like, the microphone is on, and I'll shut up, and you just give us the pitch.
Okay. I want to bring much needed positive changes to the school district. We need my platform centered around 3 key points: common sense, visibility, and accountability. That we need common sense in our district, because if you live in Reddick, you shouldn't be attending an Ocala school, and the bus should not be picking you up. We should be spending our tax dollars wisely. We don't live in Congress. We can't print money in the basement, and we should be conservative with our money. We need visibility. Every school is equal, whether that's Stanton Weirsdale or South Ocala Elementary. Every school is equal, and we need to visit all of them and the school events. We need accountability for the district decisions being made. If a decision's being made, we need to review that constantly and make sure it's working. We can't just send it out and say that that's what we're going to do, whether it works or not. We really need to work on the school grades, and the schools with lower performing grades or going to be a needs improvement school. We need to work on those and work with the community and improve those before it becomes a problem. And the classrooms are paperless and pencilless. We need more funding for the classrooms. I promise to start with the classroom first, and then everything else will matter afterwards, because nothing else matters if the teachers and students are not taken care of.
Colton, Sawyer Smith, you're a bright young man. Thank you for coming in and sharing this with us. Do you have a website set up?
I have not.
Facebook page? Anything you want to put out there for people to contact you?
I do have a Twitter page. My handle on there is the letter F and grown 28.
GROWN?
Yes.
F grown
28.
28. Okay.
So basically like Florida grown 28.
I gotcha. Florida. Okay, gotcha. Colton, thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck. We'll be right back.